Okay.
So I brought it to our Rotary Club. I just wanted to express my concerns. And people, as we do in Rotary, listened very respectfully, very quietly, clapped, as we always do when someone is done with something. And that was it. Never really gave it too much more thought. And then one day, I was at my Rotary meeting, and it was one of the times when I wasn't feeling very well. And I was just kind of sitting there, kind of slumped over, and I heard my name. And I sat up to see what was happening. And Jorge Vasquez, our then president of our Glendale Sunrise Rotary Club, was saying that when Marilyn Gunnell came to us to talk to us about her concerns on bullying, she was ahead of her time. Once again, the same way she was ahead of her time with Not Even for a Minute. And we are concerned now. We see that this bullying is a very big problem. And I, meaning Jorge, and Zavin Kazazian, who was the incoming president of Rotary. Rotary goes from July to July. We have discussed it, he said, and we are very concerned and we are interested in doing something about bullying in Zavin's year. So I said, okay, all right. So would you help us? I said, well, I'll help you, you know, to the extent that I can, and sure. So started to talk to Zavin about it as the weeks went by, and I said, you know, we did a great collaborative project with the LA County Medical Association Alliance with our Not Even for a Minute program, not leaving kids in or around vehicles unattended. And I would suggest that we form a collaborative of the two agencies again and see what we can come up with. What do you think about that? He said, oh, I think that's a great idea. Whatever you think is a good idea, I think is a good idea. So how do you want to go about it? I said, well, I think the best thing is we'll call a meeting, we'll set a date, we'll invite Rotarians to come, invite some Alliance members to come. And I, of course, have the luxury of wearing both hats, the Alliance hat as past president and also the Rotary hat, 21 years plus of perfect attendance in Rotary. So that's what we did. We found a date, and we decided we would ask some other people to come. We weren't going to be exclusive. That was not our intent. But we were going to be the founding part of the group. And so we had our first meeting. It's probably long about July of 2010. And I was very excited about how things were going. I could see that we were going to have a lot of good support from Rotary, and we were going to have good support from LACMA Alliance. Support in terms of money to some limited degree, and support in terms of manpower. Then as the time went by, and we got Glendale Unified School District on board, in 2004, when we had this program, Glendale Unified School District was very reticent, not necessarily overly cooperative. We're still having this notion that we don't have a bullying problem here in Camelot. And it was, took Sally Miles, the representative from the school district, to shake the thing up and make them aware that this was something that we needed to do. And it kind of went from there. And so then we decided, well, if we're going to have a project, then we better have some additional supporters. How are we going to do that? Well, we decided we would brainstorm the names of some local community organizations and agencies that we think would be good to get on our letterhead and to get cooperation from. And different people had different suggestions. We took all of the suggestions into account and eventually got well over 20 additional community members, including Glendale Police Department, Glendale Fire Department, the Armenian Chamber of Commerce, the Glendale Chamber of Commerce, Glendale Adventist Medical Center, Glendale Memorial Medical Center, and Verdugo Hills Hospital. And it just kind of went on until we had quite a number. We wanted to have a good cross-cut of the community. So we have a very high Armenian population, so we wanted that for sure. We have fairly high Hispanic populations, so we wanted that. We have the Glendale Latino Association. And we just wanted to get a lot of different people. We got the YMCA, the YWCA, so forth and so on. And then it occurred to us, well, if we're going to have something, then we should have a name. What will we call this? So at one of our meetings, we banged around a lot of different ideas for a name, and we came up with Bully Me Not, exclamation mark. And then what will we have for a logo? We can't just have a name, we have to have some kind of a logo. So we decided that one of the good ideas that we thought would be to have like a four-handed, gloved kind of fist type of thing. And we were able to get the help of my son-in-law, John Sumner, who's a graduate of Art Center and a very talented graphic designer. And he put the whole thing together for us, set it up, helped us select the font, helped us select the method of setting it up so that we would have a very modern looking, very appropriate kind of letterhead. And so that is what we did. Now we have all this great stuff, and so what have we been talking about to do? Well, I knew from 2004 that SuEllen Freed was wonderful, and I suggested having SuEllen Freed. Well, we had a lot of discussion about that. SuEllen charged $5,000 plus airfare, plus room and board. It's a fair amount of money, but we were not going to pay for all of it. People don't really value things that they get free. So we were going to charge, and we ultimately charged $225 per 3-day train the trainer program per person. That included breakfasts and lunches. It included a training manual, one of SuEllen Freed's most recent books that she co-authored, and also a special guide for activities that can be done with youth. And so that was all something that we also needed to pay for. And that was an additional $75 per unit of educational materials. Well, then we started talking about, well, what are we going to do that will get more than 30 people into a room for a train the trainer program? What about concerns that parents have? What should we do about that situation? Well, we decided we would ask SuEllen how she would feel about a forum. And so she thought that was a great idea. And so we had selected a date for this Train the Trainer program. We had a location. We decided that we would figure out some nice menus and that we would have this project take place in January of 2011, and SuEllen eventually was going to be coming on Sunday the 9th of January. So we had a little dinner, no-host dinner, and everybody that was on the committee and some other special people that were important to this issue of bullying were invited. And SuEllen was hosted by our group. And we had a wonderful time. We met on Sunday evening after my husband and I picked SuEllen up at Burbank Airport. And a lot of the people who were going to be on the forum were at the dinner and got to meet her and talk to her. And then we went into the training. Started on Monday morning the 10th at 8 a.m. We went to Toll Middle School, had an opportunity to watch SuEllen administer her program to an auditorium of youth. That was very, very good, very interesting, very valuable. And then we traveled to Fremont Elementary School, and we had a group of young people there, fifth graders there, and it was very well received. Then we came back and we had a lovely lunch, and we went ahead and finished the training of that day. The next morning, we had a nice breakfast at the site owned by Glendale Unified School District. SuEllen taught the trainees various things, told many interesting stories, things that could be used when the third day would come, and that was when the people who were taking the training would administer the training to students at Toll and students at Fremont. And we did that, and that went along just beautifully. Then we came back to the center and we had lunch, and we talked about how the morning had gone, how people felt about the classes that they taught, and how they would be able to utilize this in the rest of their dealing with youth. Now, what kinds of people came to this? Well, we had school counselors, we had school administrators, we had school teachers, and not that this is a problem that only resides and festers in the schools, but because the school day is so much a part of the life of the youth. But we also had other people. We had people from the Glendale Youth Alliance. We had past president of LACMA Alliance, Elizabeth Ting Kurahara. We had Margaret Kaufman from LACMA Alliance District 4 was on our committee. We had a lot of people. And we also had the forum. The forum was Tuesday evening. It was held at the boardroom of the Glendale Unified School District, and it was packed. It was amazing. They actually had to add more chairs. People were standing, people were sitting on the floor in the hall. It was an unbelievable spectacle. There were administrators,